What's important to you? The quality of your life and what you want for you and your family, is that more important to you? Or is it keeping up with the Joneses and being accepted by your peer group? Today, I'm in Israel on vacation for the next 10 days, and my husband and I are scouting out places. So where do we want to retire? What looks good and what doesn't look good? And my friend Tove came, her and her boyfriend, Ayal, came to meet us. We met them in Herzliya, and then they drove us up back to Tel Aviv, and we were chit chatting about what's really important in our life. Is it the keeping up with the Joneses when you're in your 30s and 40s, when you have the kids and you want the house and you want to go to the same vacation spots and you want to, like, be loved and or like want to have a good friendship base or a good relationship base and be plus or minus the same as your neighbors? Or do you want to do what's most important to you and your family? Because I was thinking that it changes with every decade as you get older. But you know what? If you're not comfortable with yourself, who you are, and where you come from, it doesn't change decade to decade. Think about it. When you're your teenagers, with your friends, and your parents take care of you. But what your friends think of you, sometimes, of course, naturally, is more important than what your parents think of you because you're seeking outside validation, right? You want to be, you want to be part of a group, something outside of your family, and you want to start making those affiliations and associations quicker outside of your family. And then you're in your 20s, right? You go to university and you have the peer group there, and you always want to be accepted there. And then after that, after university, then you get your first job, and perhaps you move from where you were raised into a new state or a new country, even for your job. And then you make your friends. And it was so funny because Tove and I were talking about this. When you like get married, you have kids, you want to like keep up with the Joneses, you want to go to vacations in the same places, which is very much like high school. You want to be accepted and you want to blend in, and you don't want the neighbors saying, "Oh, we're going to go stay at the Ritz Carltons over here," as Tove was saying, and at this location. And if you're not staying at the same one, then they look at you kind of like this. But then when you get into your 40s and 50s and your kids are gone and it's just the two of you, is it as important for you to have that external validation and to be part of a group? Or is it more important to do the things that make you happy with your partner? And Tove and I were talking about that today because she's also in her 50s. So, she's here with her boyfriend, and she's also retiring and looking to see, is this going to be her permanent home or not? So we were having a really good conversation, just the two of us as women, because women tend to look at things from a different perspective than men. Men can kind of go along and fit in anywhere, and women are a little bit more like connect the friend groups and get everything going. So I've been walking around here in Israel living my best life. And although there's a couple of places that are bombed and it's a little bit stressful, overall, it's no different than being any other place. Because I noticed myself, I'm still the same person. We went and had coffee, and I met this great couple, and they were from Mexico, and they were like in their 70s. And just because I said a little bit of Spanish in my own little personal way, because somebody gave us a chair and I said, "Oye, pero tú eres tan delicioso, tanta gracia," right? And then the couple next to us, the 70-year-old, turned around and said, "Pero tú hablas español." I said, "Pero claro, soy puertorriqueña." Entonces él me dijo, "Where are you from?" And I said, "My mom is Puerto Rican. I was raised in the US." And he goes, "I'm from Mexico." And then we had this whole conversation in Spanish, and it lasted 15 minutes. And it was so magical just because I dare to just be myself, walking these streets, living my best life. The same thing happens to me when I'm in Sweden. The same thing happens to me when I'm in the US. The same thing happens to me when we're in Paris. The same thing happens to me when we're in Italy, because I am just myself. And I'm such good company by myself that it doesn't matter where I am, I always make friends. So, is it more important for you in your person to be accepted by your peer group? And do you make decisions to ensure that you're accepted by your peer group? Or do you make decisions based on what's important to you. Because Tova and I were talking about that, and she and I were coming to the thing of, when you're in your 50s, it doesn't really matter because it is just you and your partner, and it is just you. So, like, for me, what's important wherever I live and wherever I am is that there's good food, that's safety, that it's easy to get around, whether we have our own car, whether there's a good infrastructure when it comes to buses and trains. Is there a lot of things to do? Tova and I were laughing because she loves to dance with her boyfriend Ayal, and she likes to go to places where the people are young and, like, fun and sexy. And you want young, but when you're 50s, you don't want to be like the old fogies there. So, like, that little balance of getting to know your places, and it's also getting to know you yourself. What's important to you as a person? What's important to you as a person? Have you thought about that? Because at some point, your kids are going to be gone and it is going to be you. And at some point, if you are like my demographic, that even though I think it's 40s and 50s, you guys are really like 25 and 30s and early 30s and 40s. So when you're making your decisions about your life, it's so important for you to be happy with yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what you have. People come and go. Your kids are with you for a short amount of time, and then they also leave. Because just because you have a parent or your children, they're not yours to keep. And they don't owe you anything. And you don't owe them anything. We raise them and they go off. And if you're, someone with a little bit going on there, you make sure that your kids are responsible and they're accountable for themselves and they know how to be happy in their own lives and they can stand for themselves and be, productive members of society. That's what we want because you are that. So you're going to raise your kids to do the same thing, right? Other than that, it is really just you and you. And I have a great husband and I've chosen great husbands the times I've been married. So it's great partnerships. But me, myself, I am so happy with myself. I love myself. I like myself. And it is about being accountable and responsible for myself, just like you're accountable and responsible for you. So to circle back to the beginning of this conversation that we're having, if I didn't digress too much, are you happy with who you are as a person? Or do you need to have the validation of the group? Because I love myself and the validation of myself, and I enjoy my peer group, but they're not the beginning and end of my life and my person. And when I was talking to Tovi, it's so interesting to see the decades of you as a person and me as a person, because when I was in my 20s, it was so much more important than it was in my 40s and 50s. I'm curious. Is that the same thing for you? Is the validation of your group, your family, your friends more important than your self validation? Do they influence the decisions you make for your life, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, or even me now in my 50s? I'm curious. Tell me in the comments below. Would you move to make yourself happy, or do you stay to make your group happy? Think about it right in the comments below. Make the decisions for you. Because at the end of the day, you're accountable and responsible for you, and you're the only one that's going to be there. Pussily Puss.